Welcome to a special episode. We're going to talk about the upcoming Venus retrograde in the sign of Leo. And she's going to experience a lot of things, which means that we are going to experience a lot of things based on the Venus themes, based on the sign that she's in, which is Leo. And we're going to look, of course, at the chart to see what kind of experiences or topics might come up for us. Now, a Venus retrograde is really relevant because it's a personal planet, and it means that Venus is close to Earth. So anything a personal planet does, especially a retrograde, like a Mercury retrograde, like a Mars retrograde, or in this case, a Venus retrograde, it affects us because the energy is closer, it's personal, and we will really feel it, and it will ignite something in our chart as well. So that's what we're here to talk about. Well, first of all, the planet of Venus, what is she about? Well, she represents the feminine energy, and it's all about love, relationships. It's about value and also therefore self-worth, and linked to that, it's also about money and possessions and thus, finances. And she also governs anything aesthetic, so beauty, how you look, and again, also how you feel about the way you look, and also decoration, home interior. Those are the kind of topics. Like design could also be very Venusian, art. So when she's retrograde, these topics will be highlighted for us, but in a very retrospective way, because a retrograde means that optically, so from our point of view on Earth, it seems that she's going backwards. Of course, she's not. That doesn't occur in the cosmos, but due to the planetary movements, it seems for us that she's slowing down and changing position. Maybe you've noticed that Venus is very visible in the sky, but now she's very visible at nighttime. And please enjoy her at night, because she's going to change her light. When she goes retrograde, she's going to switch into the morning star. So from the retrograde on, we will see Venus no longer in the night sky, but she will be more visible in the morning sky. So that's quite a change, right? That's, I suppose, why they refer to as, Venus going when she goes retrograde, she's going into the underworld and she's having a massive transformation. And, the transformation in one part is from going from a night star or planet to a morning star. But a retrograde has a great impact on us energetically. So as the word says, retro, it's all about going back and reassessing and reevaluating on these Venusian topics. Easy way to remember is that almost all RE words apply to a retrograde. So it's about resetting, it's about realignment, it's about reassessment, reevaluation, reflecting, rewriting, reflecting, revising, or even revealing. So some things might come really up. So something might be coming up regarding our past or something that we've done in the past. This could be past relationships because Venus rules that, but it could also be past in the sense of related to your finances, or other decisions that you made in the past, which might come up for reviewment. It could also be there for rebooting, right? Refreshing the past energy. Sometimes it could also mean rest, you know, to take it more slow, to not make big decisions, to go with the flow and relax. This is because Venus is slowed down, okay? That's why to us it seems like she goes backwards, because she is slowing down. And that means that, you know, oftentimes it is said that it's not the greatest moment to step into a new relationship with somebody you just met, or you know, to not start a new business that you never, you know, did anything with prior. The reason for that is because Venus is slowed down. She's not in her power. And that means that, you know, desires, lust, or even love in relationships could be more lower than usual. And, you know, financial developments could be slower or more unexpected than usual. And that's why a lot of astrologers say that it's not the greatest time to start something new regarding these Venus topics. And I think the most important part about that is that it's not the wisest thing to make big purchases, as Venus is about finances, because you might regret it later. There might be something off with the offer or the price or the quality or whatever. So you want to just take that into consideration, okay? But on the flip side, you could meet a lot of bargains when Venus is in retrograde. So if you were already looking out for something, maybe you'll have more discounts around this time, or a much better price, right? So there's that. There's the bargain element. Maybe since Venus is in Leo, and Leo is about gold and also finances, but specifically gold, this could be an indication that the gold price drops. But, you know, obviously I'm not a financial advisor, so use your own discernment regarding those choices. But most of all, I think if you're considering any aesthetic changes, you know, Venus in Leo is very bold and it's all about the hair. So you might want to change up your look and change up your hairstyle. But I have to warn you that you might not be very happy with it afterwards. So take into consideration the dates, and also aesthetic operations or aesthetic adjustments or changes is not advisable around this time, because these are Venus ruled topics, and again, she's not in power. So you might not be happy with the results, or something might happen, and you know, you want to be careful with those things. So what about the dates? Well, we are in pre-shadow period, so Venus is already slowing down. So she's already kind of losing her power. And then July 23rd of 2023, she goes retrograde at 28 degrees and 35 minutes of Leo, so almost at the end of the sign of Leo. If you have any placements in Leo yourself, it will be highly affected. If you have placements in Aquarius, which is the opposition, it will be highly affected. If you have placements in Scorpio and in Taurus, that's a square, so that's a tension. And she will be retrograding for like 42 days, and that means that it will last till September 4th. So between July 23rd and September 4th, she is in retrograde and less in power. And she's going through that transformational process, meaning we are going through the transformational process regarding the Venus topics of money, relationships, beauty, but also self-worth, right? But then there is always also a post-shadow period. So even though she's direct at September 4th, it will kind of linger and continue till maybe October 7th. So regarding, any big financial purchases or big business starts, I would not recommend. Also, maybe not recommend weddings, but it's not always up to us. And then again, I always say that, these are not rules, right? There are always exceptions to the story. Maybe this has a great impact on your chart if there are sextiles or trines or even other reasons why this might even work out for you. It's not as restrictive as some astrologers would like to. It's just that you have to keep you have to be a little bit careful and just consider that the topics that Venus rule, the topics of finances, relationships, and beauty are just some things you need to take into consideration with. Meaning you need to really rethink and be sure of what you're doing. And big decisions you might move out of the way till September 4th at least. But then again, another exception is that if you have Venus retrograde in your chart, then this is actually an excellent period for you because you were born with this energy. You're used to Venus retrograde. So for you, none of these things apply, and it's actually one of the best times where a lot of opportunities could kick in, and it might be, a beneficial time for you. So, again, use your discernment regarding your own life. So Venus is going to go retrograde in the sign of Leo. And this is beautiful. Leo is such a bold, energetic, daring, confident, expressive sign. It's very creative. It is all about having fun and being in the limelight, being at the front center, kind of being fearless and just putting yourself out there, wanting to be seen, wanting to be applauded for who you are, wanting to have recognition. This is an energy where you want to perform, where you want to sing, where you want to dance. Even if you're not doing that on a podium, at least, you'll feel that kind of energy. And I would certainly advise you that if there are a lot of emotions or energy, dance, let it go, be expressive, tap into that Leo energy because it's really fun. It's really exciting. And because it's so expressive, it's almost like a costume party. You can really discover new sides of yourself and be more extravagant, be more bold, also in your looks and, your outfits and, but also your character, being very expressive and, saying what you want, not being afraid of drawing in attention with that or, even confronting a few people with that, So Venus in Leo is all about that shine, that glow, that play, playfulness. Venus in Leo could be a very childlike energy as well. And so this is excellent for tapping into your inner child, for bringing that more to life. You know, radiate out your true identity, or at least maybe experiment with parts of yourself, you know. This is an energy where we can be more dramatic than usual, more fearless than usual, more noticed than usual. Maybe we'll feel more courage than normal, you know, more desire to be noticed, to be more quirky almost. You know, this is where you wear the glitter and the, you know, the furry outfit and the crazy shoes and the opulence and the luxury that's related to Leo as well. Could be something that you might like more than usual, or at least consider more than usual. So don't be afraid to sparkle and have more fun with your looks, with your behavior, and just being more relaxed and trying out different facets of who you are. You know, let your personality come through, let your personality shine. Be bold in your expression. Be okay with being in the spotlight, and at least try it out so that you can take it into reevaluation. Like, is this a part of me? Do I need to be more expressive? Do I need to be more courageous? Do I need to be more fearless? Can I look more apart? You know, can I tap into that sort of like joyful drama, and so that, you know, you're more fully you, you know, more expressive, more daring, and most of all, I suppose, more creative. So, you know, being very expressive with your creative side, and also being creative literally, and like taking on hobbies that usually when Venus is retrograde, it's about taking on hobbies from the past. Was there stuff that you were really enjoying and having fun with when you were younger, and you kind of lost it out of sight? You know, maybe it's about tapping into how did you have fun? You know, what were the things that brought you so much joy when you were young? Because often those are great indicators that we'll still enjoy that today. Or at least maybe it will bring us on the path towards other new things that we might find out through these past hobbies, past enjoyments. So exploring your creative side will be very beneficial as well. So it's okay to let your wilder side come out, and, you know, more of that inner roaring lion. Don't be afraid of that sparkle and that extravagant behavior or desire that might bubble up, and you'll be like, was this me? You know, this is all about standing more boldly in our self-esteem, and why shouldn't you shine, you know, and what kept you from shining? You know, what stole your shine, your spotlight? Like, step more into it. Don't be afraid, embrace it. If you have something to say, then say it, you know. It's really important to be more bold in life, and I think Venus going retrograde in Leo is reminding us that, to have more fun, to go a little bit more crazy with your expression, so that you have that fun, right? Seeking the boundaries of things, of behavior and expression, not to be crazy or wild per se, but just so that you explore more who you are, you know, and yeah, it's also, of course, when Venus is going retrograde in Leo, it's also being very expressive in relationships. So Venus in Leo is also very expressive about love. Leo is very heart-centered. It's all about the heart and, you know, courage and that boldness comes from that, because the heart power is so powerful. So Venus in Leo is definitely reconnecting again with your heart, with your desires, with your heart power, realigning yourself with that. So what does your heart want? You know, how can you bring that more into your life? What does your heart want? How can you live from that heart power, because it will be so empowering for you. You know, I love that Leo for me is very much about courage, and courage is actually derived from a French word, le cœur, and le cœur means the heart. So courage actually means being really bold from the heart. And it's so Leo, right? The heart and then courage. It's the same. Moving from your heart space is very courageous. And we are definitely invited with this Venus retrograde to be more heart-centered, to follow our heart, to be in that power, to be in the, you know, be in that alignment with your heart, with that connection to your heart, knowing what it wants, and kind of being really courageous on that path. And this means courageously love, you know, and being bold and daring with your love. You know, the thing is, yes, with Venus going retrograde, especially in Leo, this could bring up old connections and old romances to, I don't know, reassess them, or maybe to find out what we deserve in love, how to be very expressive in love. Maybe there are things unsaid that need to be expressed more. Maybe there's something again to learn from that. But you know, Venus in Leo, retrograde or not, is all about our heart's desires. So this is just a moment to tap into that, to bring more awareness to it. And as she goes into the underworld, I guess it's, you know, facing also the truth about that, you know, what we may have not been very honest to ourselves in what we need in relationships, or what we desire, or what we want from a partner, or what we want romantically. So this is very much about the heart and the heart fulfillment, and you know, exploring that, understanding that, and just being so bold about it, you know, being so being the love, you know. And obviously that starts with self-esteem, self-worth, which is very much represented by Venus as well. So this is obviously all the things about holding you back from self-worth or self-love too. That's the beginning of it. You know, when you love yourself, it opens the gates for being reflected in a loving relationship. So the more we can love ourselves, the more we can obviously attract that, right? So I guess it's about becoming love, and then realizing that if there's anything holding us back from becoming that love, then this is that reflection period of getting all that out of the way, of like, this is not love, or this in my book is not love, or this obstacle held me from loving myself or loving other people or loving a partner, and then healing that. You know, this is an opportunity. The rest and the slowness of Venus is an opportunity to heal the Venus topics. You know, this is about feeling very good in your own skin, feeling really good about yourself, truly embracing and loving yourself, and then seeking that in partnership. You know, that's where you manifest love, not just for yourself, but because that light, that love of two people, obviously, you know, radiates out in the world. Need I remind everybody that the opposition of Leo is Aquarius, which is the love for everybody and the love we have, you know, collectively. So the love we have for ourselves and the love we have for our partner is super significant. And Venus in Leo is reminding us that. And it's all about tapping into the heart power. And anything holding you back from that courageous heart power will be revealed around this Venus retrograde. Now let's look at the charts and the patterns that this Venus retrograde is making. Well, the birth chart occurs at July 23rd, and as I said, that occurs at 28 degrees of Leo when Venus goes retrograde. And interestingly, I should start with the most divine pattern. There is a finger of God pointing to Venus going retrograde. The finger of God we call in astrology the Yod pattern, which is a sextile of two planets, and in this case that's Neptune retrograde in Pisces, and then Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. And then they have a very awkward relationship, a quincunx to Venus retrograde. But this divine pattern shows that, as I said, the heart power of Venus, of ourselves, is going under reevaluation, because here we are required to tap into higher consciousness of love and loving expression, and understanding from that higher perspective why it's so significant to be courageous, to be tapped into your heart's power, why it's so significant to have loving, committed relationships. And you know, Pluto is all about the soul growth and transformation, which is occurring with Venus right now, right? And it's all about going into the darkness and facing your fears, facing the blockages, the psychological blockages and programs, the emotional patterning that is withholding you from living a loving, heart-powered life. So it's about looking deeply into that and healing that thanks to Pluto. And then Neptune is bringing in the element of higher love. It's the higher octave of love, especially in Pisces. So this is about having more clarity and spiritual understanding of that higher love. So this is about spiritual practices and tapping into source power, really doing your spiritual work, your emotional healing work, to again help you love more and be in that loving space of your heart more. This is really about understanding the heart power. And I think it's Bruce Lipton who speaks about this a lot. So if you care to be more, you know, to grow your awareness about the power of the heart, then I think Bruce Lipton is a good place to start with that. So this is a bit of an uncomfortable relationship to this transformative, higher perspective view. But, you know, the divine is telling us that it's quite important to understand that your desires, your, you know, all these Venus, Leo topics that I've just been mentioning to you, all that expression, all that love, and even that boldness in presenting yourself and being really, you know, more wild in your expression than normal, being more tapped into the creativity and the playfulness and the fun and the romance of it all is just, it's so transcendental. It's so important for your spiritual journey. And, you know, we are getting a higher understanding. You know, Venus is getting that higher understanding. So we're tapping into that during this period, and it's just really significant. By this time, the nodes have entered Aries. The North Node has entered Aries, and the South Node has entered Libra. So the nodes have switched signs, and being at 29 degrees of these cardinal signs means that they are creating a T-square, an exact T-square sort of, with Pluto, who's at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So this is bringing a lot of purpose to our journey, and Pluto is telling us that we need to be very strong in our character and in our goals, and for that, you know, Pluto is empowering us, bringing in the strength. However, it's bringing our attention to all the obstacles that are in our way of being more strong in our sense of self, being courageous in who we are, in our identity, being that bold, expressive person, being in your own fire, and, you know, putting yourself first is something that Pluto is teaching us. What is holding you back from all that? What's holding you back from the excitement in your life? And that strong sense of self is really, really important. The reason why I say this is because Venus in retrograde is actually lightening up this tension of this node opposition and then the T-square to Pluto. So this means that Venus is actually trining the North Node in Aries, and that is pretty wonderful. So Venus is bringing in the encouragement that, you know, Aries already is very bold and very unapologetic and you know, brave and courageous in itself. But then Venus in Leo is adding to it and is helping the North Node gain more self-understanding, more character to it, you know. As I said, more exploration of who you are, of your expression, not forgetting your creative side. It's so important. So she's bringing in all of that to our life's purpose, to this 18-month journey that Aries, the North Node Aries is beginning around these dates. So Venus trining the North Node is very significant, but it also means, therefore, she is sextiling the South Node. So she is helping us clear out the blockages of withholding healthy relationships. You know, how can we bring more balance in our relationships? How can it be more healthy? And it's all about being more strong in yourself, in your individuality, and in your desires, and like demanding what you want, okay? And being like, this is who I am, and I deserve love, and I deserve to be loved like this, and romance me, you know. It's just bringing back into our lives, into our relationships, the key, you know, excitement and warmth of, you know, what love should be. So she's helping all this tension that's going on in the background, because not only is there a T-square to Pluto, which is something that has been ongoing since March actually, but now it is strengthened by the Sun, who has just entered Leo. So when Venus goes retrograde at 28 degrees of Leo, which is at the end of Leo, the Sun has just started moving into the sign of Leo, which is its home. So the Sun is very comfortable. Obviously, it's summertime in the northern hemisphere, so the Sun is strong. It's shining boldly, just like Leo. And this is about heightened, you know, excitement, joyful play, you know, that beach kind of energy, and the romance of it too, and the warmth of the sun and the warmth of summer season. So that's all jolly, but it is an opposition to Pluto that the Sun is making, which is really tough. Okay, and it means that the T-square is now turned into a grand cross. 2 oppositions, 4 squares. I've been saying this for so long because we have been in grand crosses since May. Okay, so we have been experiencing so much tension since May. And the reason for that is just that we have to undergo a massive transformation, because Pluto T-squaring the node since March is a seriousness, right? Is like, you have to grow or else you will die. You know, Pluto is pretty demanding like that. And, you know, change is life, right? So I guess that Pluto is just saying, embrace the death of things, because they are the beginning of new things, right? And that we just have to let go of so much that isn't ours, you know, all this psychological programming, all these cultural conditionings, and just these fears that are holding us back from living our full potential in life. And Pluto has been creating constant pressure since March, but the pressure has been heightened since May. So May and June, I don't know if you've noticed, were intense, pressureful times. And now it's again a grand cross. And this is just, this is challenging a little bit of our energy and our vitality and our ability to shine. It's not that Pluto is holding that back. It's just that it wants you to understand why you're not shining, or why you're not fully yourself more, and what is holding you back from living that joyful life. You know, what's holding you back from tapping into your inner child and enjoyment and being more creative and more chill, you know, being more joyful, more fun, more excited, more childlike, you know, just as I said, like singing a song and like just dancing for no reason. Why not? You know, why not wear that outfit that you want to wear? Who cares what other people think? Leo does not care what other people think, you know. It's crazy in that sense. Like, you know, it will have the big hair and it will have the big mouth, and, you know, it will stand up for itself. And this is something we need to learn. And taking leadership over your own life is obviously going to be really important with Venus going retrograde, but also with the Sun opposite Pluto here. You know, what is holding you back from all these things? And the Sun is shining full light onto whatever was holding you back, shining full light into the darkness. And this can be really uncomfortable for some people who have never looked into that. But I feel that if you have done some shadow work or healing work, then I feel that this could be positive in the sense that it will help you break through the barriers, will break you open into the realization and the power, like, okay, now I'm going to change everything, right? Because in a way you could look at a grand cross as a crossroads. So it's like something has to change. I also see a grand cross as a wheel. It's like four, it's a cross, right? So 4 lines, but when you tackle one side, it starts to spin and then everything moves in a different way, like a chariot, you know? So whatever part of this cross you can hold on to and change, not hold on to, but in the sense like, what can you manage? So, you know, this is a stop-go energy, so there's not much you could potentially do. You might face some hindrances, some energy like your patience is tested, and like something is on, you know, one foot is on the brake pedal and like something is slowed down, right? But we do what we can. We take the baby steps, and as you spin one side of this cross, I feel that everything starts to move again. And that's either South Node in Libra, getting, you know, clear on, you know, not thinking too much about other people, not blending into other people, you know, not caring for what they want more than caring for what you want, because that's the North Node in Aries. It's about me, what I want, right? And it's important to fill your own cup and to prioritize yourself to have more healthy relationships. So that's that side of the cross. Or Pluto going into the darkness and seeing what kind of structures have been holding you back from being empowered. Maybe these are some father issues with Pluto in Capricorn. And, you know, Pluto in Capricorn is about taking authority over your own life, and whatever was on the way of holding you back from taking the authority in your life, that's what you have to face here. You have to face your fears about taking leadership in your own life. You have to face the fears of what's holding you back from being more fully you, being more bold in who you are, you know? And as I said, the sun is just making it so big, making it so bright that it's going to be as clear as day. There is this energy about this Venus retrograde with this, you know, grand cross in the background with the sun in Leo. There is just so much light. It's so bright. It's going to be so clear. And I think that might be such a nice release. That might make it, in a way, even though it's all about tension, okay? It's all about discomfort and all about being pushed and being pulled and just not a very nice feeling. And a lot of changes will have to be made. But I do feel that there might be a great sense of clarity. And, you know, the clarity will help you to change, right? Help you to be honestly aware, like, okay, so this is what it is. this is not what I want. So then we change our behavior. We change our, standards, okay? We change what we accept or what we don't accept. So there is also a square to Uranus, who is in Taurus. This is a bit of a bigger orb. It's 6 degrees apart from Venus retrograde, but I will definitely take it into consideration. And the reason is why all the energies that I've just mentioned, obviously this is a birth chart of Venus going retrograde, so this energy will continue till September 4th, okay? But also because it's a retrograde, Venus will move backwards, right, all the way back into 12 degrees of Leo. So it moves between 28 and 12 degrees of Leo, right? And when it does that, it means that it hits some of these points with like Uranus, with the nodes. So it hits these points several times. So some of these energies will really be like flaring up in this period and then having to deal with again, and then slowing down and then coming up again. So that's why definitely Uranus is involved here. The square between Venus retrograde in Leo and Taurus, Uranus in Taurus. This is interesting. This is breaking free from the norms. This is unexpected changes in our loving relationships. This is unexpected changes in the world regarding finances. Uranus is that surprise, wild energy, and it just creates sudden changes, very unexpected, and it could create some crashes, breakdowns, so that we break through things and that we're more awakened, more aware of, all the information and stuff that's going on. It's to get us into a higher perspective, right? Because Uranus is an outer planet, so our higher consciousness kind of starts with Uranus energy. So maybe this is a higher understanding of love. Interestingly, Venus rules this Uranus situation because Venus rules Taurus. So this has to be about love and finances, okay? And also beauty. As I said, not a great idea to do aesthetic changes, aesthetic operations, or big changes to your look that you cannot like change again. You might want to take things wild and make sudden changes, sudden decisions, but they might not work out that great, okay? Just saying. And the same goes maybe for relationships and also finances. Be careful with that, okay? Again, no big purchases if you can avoid it. And this definitely can create sudden changes in the financial sector, and this could be crashes, but on the other side, it could also be sudden, like, sudden movements that go up, right? Sudden improvements, but definitely sudden crashes, I would say. Regarding land, food, gold, finances, luxury products, and stuff like that. Maybe even sort of like crypto, electronic things because of Uranus. So turbulent financial time, I would say. But this is also about, exploring a more free and unique way of pleasure, of what feels good, of, you know, what feels comfortable and nice in a relationship, or in your life in general. This is really exploring your senses and your likes, and that it might be a little bit different than usual. This is also about exploration, doing it differently, and maybe breaking free of the norms, breaking free and creating new values for yourself. This energy is very much about changes in your values. So maybe getting a higher perspective on your values and how, you know, because you've been accepting certain things, you're having certain outcomes, you know. So if you change what you accept from people's behavior or your own behavior, then the result changes. So this is about increasing your values in a way that's unique to you. What do you find valuable, you know? What do you need to feel good and to feel loved and to feel safe and comfortable? You know, what's a good life to you? That's what you're also going to explore, and that might come through a little bit of tension, because maybe we are forced to think about these things if some things are being taken away from us, you know. Our attention will really go into doing it differently. Doing it differently with our lifestyle, doing it differently with our looks, doing it differently with our expression, doing it differently in relationships, doing it differently in finances, okay? A lot of that will go into reevaluation in this time. A lot of changes are underway. It's a pretty active retrograde for Venus. Now the divine is very present here because we have another yod. We have the second finger of God also involved with this Venus retrograde. How interesting is that, right? But this time she is sextiling the South Node in Libra, and the finger of God is pointing to Neptune in Pisces. And this is sort of actually, of course, related to the other yod, because, you know, a lot of the same planets are involved. And it just means that we have to lift up and change our love game. It has to be spiritual. It has to be unconditional. We have to understand the true meaning of love and what love is and how we love. And we need to, moreover, tap into the higher love, the divine love, the love of source, that is such a big power that we can continuously tap into, right? It will solve a lot of our self-esteem issues. It will, you know, help us manifest a lot of these desires and relationships, and, you know, just heal our heart and feel loved in ourselves, feeling full in ourselves, so that, you know, humanity, Earth can just experience more, just the higher, profound octaves of love, okay? And this is also just grand creativity as well. Like, you know, this is about magical creation. You know, this is about beautifully singing and beautifully painting and beautiful poetry, beautiful art and style, and you know, just really stepping up all of these divine energies so that they flow more into this earth, so our frequency is lifted more up, right? So much divinity here, right? 2 yods, 2 fingers of God, and also then miraculously pointing to Neptune, which is all about spirituality and divinity, and then this Venus, you know, all about love and creativity, and then Neptune in Pisces being all about love and creativity, only in the much higher sense, the bigger, more magical, mystical, you know, divine, transcendental, spiritual, soul growth kind of love and creativity and expression, right? So there's a lot of tension, but then there's a lot of need. You know, obviously tension is necessary then, because it's about attention, right? It's getting our attention. It has to change, right? We are just learning massively how to step into the divine parts of ourselves, and with that comes the courage, with that comes the heart power, with that becomes the strong bravery and sense of self that is all needed during this time. There's so much emphasis on this, you know. And then I want to leave you with two interesting little things that I noticed. One is in the chart, and that is that right opposite Venus, retrograde at 28 degrees of Leo, we have Eros, the asteroid of desire and lust and passion, and love, ultimately relationships as well, in the sign of Aquarius at 27 degrees. So this is an opposition. This is just confirming what I said before in this video, that, you know, there is so much importance about this Venus Leo energy, about tapping into. I'm like a machine that keeps repeating, but, you know, sometimes repetition is necessary for us. You know, that Teletubby thing where if it's repeated enough, we start to understand it, right? Like the, you know, something happens in our mental field and something clicks and it's like, okay. So maybe that's why. But really the Venus Leo is so important, because loving yourself, being in a loving relationship, having love for all that is, you know, receiving the love from the divine, from your guides, from your angels, whatever you believe in, is so important for the collective, for humanity. And I think Eros, in the sign of humanity of Aquarius, is, you know, reminding us that this desire for love and this desire to be courageously yourself, this desire for expressiveness and creativity is just so important for the collective, collective frequency, for the collective vibration. So it's just a confirmation that that there is this Aquarius energy that's involved here too, because it's the natural opposition of Leo, you know. So this love for yourself has just so much potential, has just so much radiation and effect on this world, you know. So it's so significant that you use this Venus retrograde time for your benefit, for being strongly more yourself, and all that juiciness that Leo has, you know, all that shine and sparkle and gloriousness of Leo is something that we just need to embrace. It's so important to be courageously yourself, to stand up for yourself, to, deliver something, to perform something that is not just for you. This is not an ego thing. There is a grander scheme going on, right? That's clear in the chart. And I hope it was clear with me explaining it. Now, last but not least, the Sun and Venus retrograde are meeting together. That occurs on July 13th, and that's what we call a cazimi. That's when Venus is in the heart of the Sun. And in Leo, it's very significant. And this is a very significant day and process for the Venus retrograde. So that occurs at 20 degrees of Leo, in case you have any planets at 20 degrees of Leo, or 20 degrees of Aquarius, or 20 degrees of Taurus, or 20 degrees of Scorpio. These will all be hit. And, you know, this is where Venus gets an upgrade from the sun. This is where there's so much energy going on, so much vitality, so much awakening. All that light of the sun is just, you know, brightening up your life and making you see things you didn't see before. And it, you know, the sun represents consciousness, higher consciousness as well. So this is a Venus upgrade here, and an important part of the Venus retrograde journey. So that was all I had to say about the Venus retrograde period. It's profound, it's big, and may you boldly tap into who you are. May you boldly express who you are. We need you. We need your light. We need your voice. We need your creativity. This world needs your love. And let's just embrace that within ourselves so strongly, so boldly, so courageously, that we just roar and shake this world up to bring more divine love, more divine union into this world, okay? Happy Venus retrograde, but make sure that the Venus retrograde topics are important to, you know, take into consideration. So Venus retrograde will bring things up to heal, right? Remember that. It can bring up unresolved issues, right? When it's Venus retrograde in Leo, it's unresolved issues regarding money, regarding self-esteem, regarding all that's holding you back from your inner child, inner light, creativity, and, you know, all these things from the past that you need to take care of might come up for you. And that could also be, you know, financial things. It could be relationships. It could be self-esteem issues. And these are all opportunities to break through them. Just about reconnection, right? This Venus retrograde, reconnecting with our true selves, our inner light, and perhaps reconnecting with love in some kind of way, or, you know, past issues regarding that, the hidden things regarding that. And this is a wonderful real opportunity for healing our relationship with money, with partners, with our self-esteem, and it will strengthen us. You know, we will come out stronger if we do what is required. So enjoy this period, yeah, I hope this Venus retrograde goes well for you. And let me know what kind of Venus retrograde topics come up for you. So until September 4th, this is the energy we are all in. Okay. May your heart become more full, more bright, more loving. See you in the next videos on astrology. Bye.